What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another live stream. Just wait to see if we're actually starting this live stream up or not. How are we all doing? Are we live? Oh, we are live, yeah. Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. How many people have we got in here? Are we just... I don't know. But, I think we're live. So, welcome to the live stream, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Smash up those likes as you are coming in here. We've got a little Bitcoin crash today that we're going to be talking about. So... we kind of did... I don't want to say the worst case scenario, because it wasn't. But... well, the market wants more blood. That's what this tells me. But... S&P is chilling, so... can't read into this too much yet. S&P doesn't care. It's just doing its own thing. Alright, welcome to the stream, everybody. Smash up those likes as you are coming in here. Let's get this thing above 50 to start. You know the deal. Let me know where in the world you're watching from today. Adam, we are at price ranges that we were at 3 days ago. There you go, mate. There you go. We got somebody with ample common sense here. Actually, 5 days, but yeah. CZ just got sent a notice from the SEC. Back to prison he goes. Is it really? What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another live stream here. It took us a second to get this started up properly, but welcome. As you are coming in, smash up those likes. I want to see 50 likes ASAP. Shout out to Alex. What's going on, Alex? Zapowicz from California. Crypto Rob from Pattaya, Thailand. What are you doing in Pattaya, bro? Come on. What are you doing in Pattaya? Welcome to the stream, everyone. Smash them up. Smash up those likes as you are coming in. What's up, Brian? How's it going? The manipulation is real. I don't know. There's no manipulation, dude. It's just, you know, the S&P took a shit and Bitcoin took a bigger shit. It's really quite straightforward. I don't know what I'm going to be streaming about for an hour or two today, because I've kind of just said everything I need to say. But there is quite a bit to unpack, though. I mean, Bitcoin dominance has taken another rise up. And it has affected Solana not very much. I think these coins want to come down to better buy levels. Let's see, XRP. Yeah, XRP is now, like, firmly in my yellow box. Cardano is at the bottom, mate. Oh, mate, you don't really want to see this dropping much more, do you? But it's not going to stop here if everything else keeps dropping. Honestly, it looks like a phenomenal time to buy some. It could get lower. It could get down to, like, honestly, 600 Satoshis is still fine. Yeah, I'm still okay with 600 Satoshis. That's a proper 10% drop from here. Alright, let's see who we got in the live chat. Do I think paper Bitcoin is being sold? What does that even mean, dude? Crypto Rob says Pattaya is a nice city. Fair enough, dude. I bet it is. I bet it is. Adam says we got bullish divergences on everything. Matter of time before we bounce. I think I see something like that. We'll get to that in a second. Mountain Farmer. What's up, Mountain Farmer? That's pretty cool. Saying that he's got diamond hands. Anna Nilsson from Stockholm. What's going on, Anna? VPVR. We'll take a look at that in a second. Bitcoin topped out 4-year cycle. Alright, that's it. Ladies and gents. 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐺 has called it. The market has topped. See you all in 4 years. I'll just end the stream here. The market's topped. It's been called. We are cooked. We are cooked in response to your comment. Yeah, no, of course. I don't think we've actually topped for the market cycle at all. You know, this is a very funny sentiment. I'm not gonna get knocked off this stance basically anywhere above 107. And even below 107, it's not a bearish chart. It would be bad structure though. But you know, to get bearish, you'd really have to sweep some quite significant levels. But as it stands right now, we have a lot of hysteria talking about, you know, like retail telling us that we've hit a top. Retail's never right about hitting a top. So I'll take my chances, sir. You know? But yeah, look, looks pretty clean here. Welcome everyone. Smash up those likes. We're getting close to 50. I want to see 50 likes here as we kick this stream off. If you haven't already smashed them up, now's your time. Smash them up. Double check that you're subscribed. Bitcoin versus gold shows the story. So we can take a look at that actually. That's going to be a very interesting chart. I don't know if this is like the right way to do it. It probably is. Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah, because gold essentially is like a stable coin, but here it's been a little bit more... This is an interesting chart, huh? Because according to this, we're not anywhere near all-time highs for Bitcoin. That's really interesting, but we are at a low. This is the time that you want to buy Bitcoin against gold. Because I was looking at BTC versus Tesla. And this is actually, let's go Tesla versus BTC. This is a little bit more easier to kind of understand, like what the chart's telling us. And, you know, I mean, it's been a constant downtrend, right? Tesla's always kind of lost against Bitcoin. But essentially, you want to buy basically as close to the bottom as you can and then sell, you know, as close to the top. And this is like relative strength of Tesla versus Bitcoin. But anyway, we'll get to that stuff in a bit. So close to 50 likes. You legends. Thank you all very, very much. Alts are topping end of October, end of November. We'll see, man. Shiraz has got all the... He's got all the prophecies. Silver smashed new highs today. There we go. Let's take a look at silver real quick. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is quite a rally. All the precious metal folk, I bet they are just having the time of their life with their negative returns adjusted for inflation. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. The last time silver was here was 2011. I'm not hyping this up with you guys. But it's a good start. It's definitely a good start. I love how the altcoin has refused to mention that Ethereum is yet to reach an all-time high. Yeah, Ethereum's obviously going to pop pretty hard when the market does get its shit back together. But so far, this is such a healthy drop, guys. Look at this. We're on the weekly. This is the weekly chart for Ethereum against Bitcoin. This is such a healthy chart. I mean, we're literally seeing, you know, essentially a pretty long-term uptrend here. This lasted, what, like 120 days, 127 days, whatever. And it's been going down straight for like 7 weeks now. So, I mean, yeah, it's about time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like 120 days up versus 50 days down. That's reasonable. That's very reasonable. And we're not even moving down that bad. This is a terrible chart. Like, if you're trying to tell me that there's something bearish coming out of this chart, you've got like the worst setup you could ask for to make your point. Understand, ladies and gents, if you're trying to make a bearish case right now, you really have all of the odds stacked against you right now. Because we've gone up on Ethereum here, which is a great representation because Ethereum is real speculation in crypto. Okay, you know, we get other things that we could do, like, is this too red? I think it might be too red. Are we too red now? Oh my god, we're quite red. Let's fix that. you know, and so what I was saying, I'll fix the red in a sec. What I was saying is that, you know, Ethereum, you know, is a great show of speculation in the market. Because Bitcoin, yes, you got to speculate if you're buying Bitcoin. But Ethereum, you need a certain level of assuredness about your idea, even beyond that, in order to buy Ethereum. You know, like buying Ethereum represents taking a little bit more risk. And Ethereum, from its lows against Bitcoin, forget about against the dollar. It's gone way better against the dollar. Forget about it. Against Bitcoin, is up now by 150%, 2.5x. And it's now pulling back a meager 18, 19%. Nothing. There is nothing here. But it's taking time. And that's why I said, you know, if you're a bear right now, I mean, it's not looking good for you. You know, like, you don't have anything confirming your ideas. Here, is this better? A little bit more white. This actually kind of works, huh? Yeah, it kind of works. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Call me a light engineer, fam. What's going on in the live chat, ladies and gents? Welcome to the stream, everyone who is just tuning in. Are exchanges double spending Bitcoin? I don't know, dude. Is that a real concern right now? I'm not sure. But welcome to the stream, everyone. If you haven't already, smash up those likes. Really do appreciate all the support. We've been streaming pretty much daily. There's something going on every day, and we are here. So if you've been enjoying that, smash them up. Double check, of course, that you are subscribed. We got Jay saying panic. How much panic are we feeling in the live chat today? I don't even ask you guys. I don't even check in with you guys. Because to me, there's no, you know, there's obviously no panic. Never. There's never panic. But how many of you guys are feeling panic right now in the live chat? Let me know. Just write down. You know, I'm panicking or I'm not panicking. I wanna get some sort of idea. Don't I have a job? I mean, kind of just living the unemployed life, bro. Unemployed life seems like the trendy thing these days, doesn't it? It does seem like the trendy thing to do. See what we got in the live chat here. So, Adam says zero panic. Alex is saying shorts are printing nicely. 𝐁𝐥𝐿𝐴 says true. 2017 was way crazier, but liquidity was way more thin. Agreed. Joshua, just another day in crypto. I agree, dude. I agree with you, Joshua. James Andy says lol, not panicking. A Khan says chillin', waiting for bigger drop, maybe open a long. That's what I'm saying. You guys have got it. You guys have got your shit on lock. This is you know, this is how it works. Who's Panic? There we go. I don't know who Panic is either. Retail is still unaware how cheap Bitcoin is. I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it cheap anymore, but probably is cheap compared to where it's going to get to. Grado, what up? Haven't finished Market Wizards yet. Thanks for the suggestion. You're very welcome, sir. Market Wizards is a brilliant book. It's linked in the description of every single video live stream. Right here. This book changed my life. It'll change your life too. Check it out. If you're not long here, you're gay. I don't know. I don't know if I would like... This is the thing. Like, originally, I thought that this was a great level to go long. We're going to talk about this in just a sec. I thought this was a great level to go long originally. But then we got the front run. And I said that actually I don't have faith in this level anymore. I mean, so far it's held up. So far the level has held up. But, you know, but not by much. You know, I mean, that's 0.5%. Don't be a panicking. Feed the triangle. Panic at 120k, really? Dude, you'd be surprised at how many people are not happy with crypto right now. You'd be surprised. Like, I'm talking about serious fucking people that... I mean, you know, like, you'd look at them in real life, you'd be like, yeah, I want to listen to that guy. You know, and they're bearish, dude. Like, they think the market tops, you know? And I'm like, which, like, universe? You know? Like, look at the S&P 500. I don't even care about what Bitcoin is. This is an S&P 500 channel. I'm saying it loudly and clearly. This channel is an S&P 500 channel first. It's not a Bitcoin channel. Even though the only thing I care about is Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin doesn't move on its own. Pretty much ever. It has exceptions. They're short. They don't go far. But for the most part, Bitcoin does what the S&P does. But it does it a little bit more volatile. Well, what's the S&P doing? It's just going sideways at an all-time high. Kind of like Bitcoin, guys. Kind of like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also going sideways at an all-time high. Yeah? Do we see that? Do we see that? We've got the most minuscule pullback ever. And we've just hit a support level? We haven't hit a support level yet. Up until just now. Just now. Or like a minute before we went live. We hit our first support level. No, I'm serious. People think that this is like it. People think this is it and we've topped. Like, seriously, do. You know? Like, they're not saying it like... You know, like, oh, maybe we should be concerned. It's like, no, like, genuinely we should start preparing for the market to have topped. And it's like, I don't know, you know, like... Whatever. It's good. I mean, this is what we need, right? Like, if everybody was on the right side of this shit, then we wouldn't be able to go up. So, obviously, this is a good thing overall, but it's just funny. It's just funny. That's what it is to me. We're at 210 viewers, ladies and gents. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's get those likes smashed up again. Let's see if we can hit 100. Shouldn't be too hard from here. My dog pooped on my phone, so now I'm panicking. Yeah, that would stress me out a little bit too, I can't lie. But smash them up, ladies and gents. Let's get this thing up to 100. Bitcoin is eventually going to be priced in the multiple millions. We'll see, dude. We'll see. I don't know. It could, though. Who knows, honestly. What's up, Gio? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Great to see you here again. Yeah, so let's talk. Let's take a little look at Bitcoin. Let's talk about it for a sec. You know, see what we've kind of seen here. Let's zoom in. Actually, do you know what? Let's get that degen cam on the right hand side as well. So that's the degen cam. Put it on BTC USD, and switch it on to the 1 minute. And this is what we have on the 1 minute. It's actually not looking great. It looks like it could top like anywhere here and start trending down again. Definitely looks like that's a possibility right now. So we'll keep an eye out for that as we go on. Yeah, just kind of hanging out right now. And if we take a look at Bitcoin itself and just kind of analyze what's going on with Bitcoin, you know, it was a little bit of a front run. It basically turned into a rising wedge of some sort, basically a continuation pattern. So we're definitely in a downtrend, in a short-term downtrend. We kind of had that brief pause. We fought that trend a little bit, and then we swept the low. And the fact that we swept the low put us in the support range, which is fantastic. But again, like I said, you know, the fact that we kind of came so close, I'm not really expecting this level to hold a second time. It could, to be honest. I don't think I'm giving it enough credit. It could hold. But I really don't want to bank on it at all. So if we do end up losing this level, the good news is that this whole range should act as pretty strong support for Bitcoin because there's been quite a bit of consolidation here previously. Granted, we never really, like every time Bitcoin fell into this range, other than here, I guess, but like from here and from here, we didn't really produce any significant bounces that, you know, kind of did well. I guess this bounce counts. No, this bounce definitely counts. And this is what I'm saying is that there's, you know, just a lot of sideways shit that happened here. And that's going to be what kind of allowed, you know, Bitcoin to capture that support here. So, you know, we definitely might be able to do something like that again, you know, if we kind of get into this range again. And that would be very, very nice to see. Coming down to the bottom of this range, you know, also makes a lot of sense. You know, this kind of $117,000 range also makes a lot of sense as far as what I can see here. Lines up very, very well with some beautiful levels. And, I mean, it's a large support zone. That's kind of the best thing about it, right? Like, this support zone, for me, you know, kind of starts at about, yeah, like 116.4. somewhere there. So if I just kind of, measure this whole range from top to bottom, bottom to top, that's a 3.2% range to capture some support. And there's Bitcoin sliding down a tiny bit right now as we speak. So we'll see how that continues to go on here. If this does turn into a bigger dump. But, it's a pretty wide range for Bitcoin to capture support in. Down to the absolute low, that's going to be an 8%, 7.7% pullback, which is plenty. That's also good. We can also start drawing some fibs on this chart now, because we've seen a real top. So we've got 382 support right here where we are. We've got 618 support at about 115k. That's very interesting that we've got 618 support right here, because the market definitely might want to come back down and tag this. I've been talking to you guys a lot about that risk of a deviation where we come down to this support level, but then we just kind of, do something like that, and then it's like, onwards from there. Very typical price action that Bitcoin pulls off all the time. It did it over here as well. So, deviations are Bitcoin's love language, as we're all very, very intimately familiar with by now, unfortunately. And that would be something that I think is quite likely. That if we do turn this into a larger dump, then, the bottom of our support level sits about here, 116.4. And it probably stretches down in a worst case, down to about 114, 114.6. This is good, because what we need to keep in mind, and this is what most people are missing because they're idiots, we don't want to be idiots, is quite simply that we did not have support from the 126,000 all-time high until we hit this level. And that everything from here down to here, from 120 down to 116.4, everything here is support. In other words, we could not expect a bounce to reasonably happen before this yellow box. Right? And that's what we said. We came on stream every day saying the same thing. What did I say? I said that we haven't even hit a support level yet. So, support is where you expect bounces. We need to keep this in mind because the percentages might get scary. The Bitcoin dominance move might get scary if you're invested in alts, whatever. A bunch of shit might get scary. You're in crypto. Get used to it. Shit gets scary sometimes. But support zones are the only places you're typically going to be expecting a bounce to happen. And we've just entered that range. And this range stretches down by another $4,500, $5,000, $6,000 if we count the deviation risk. So, we're good. We're in a really good place. The market is pulling back. It just rallied up by 15% in 8 days. And we're pulling back. Calm the fuck down. Okay? Calm down. We're up 15% and we've pulled back by 5%. And we just hit our first support level. Calm the fuck down. Everybody needs to just calm down. Nothing has happened. We're just falling down to support. We've done this 1,000,000 times. We're going to do it 1,000,000 times afterwards. Talk to me about a scary chart when we start losing macro levels, okay? When we start setting lower lows on a macro scale. Before that, you are in the most volatile, riskiest asset class that we've ever known within all of our lifetimes. So you will get a little bit of volatility. Calm down. Okay, is that settled? Have we settled that, chat? Smash them up, ladies and gents. If we've settled that, we are at 91 likes. Let's get this thing above 100. We're so close. That was a very, very important note that I needed to make, ladies and gents. You want scary charts? Look at alts. All right, tell me your scariest alt chart then. Let's start looking at some scary alt charts. I don't think there's anything scary here, but I'll tell you what, if people are getting scared, then it's probably looking like a good time to start buying. That is how this works. You know it's not Bitcoin everyone's panicking about. It's alts. Actually, no. There are a lot of people panicking about Bitcoin. But let's look at the alts that we're supposed to be upset about too. And the thing about alts, before I even talk about alts, because I'm hearing this from you guys today in the live chat, that a lot of you guys are not happy with the situation with alts. It's the same thing as Bitcoin, okay? So Bitcoin has just hit a support level. Altcoins are not going to bounce off their support levels on their own, okay? Like, you know, this shouldn't be new to anyone in the live chat today. But if it is, you need to go way back. All right, because if you've invested yourself in these markets, and what I'm about to tell you, you're hearing it for the first time, or you've never considered it, you are gambling. Through and through. I know what gambling looks like. I've worked with thousands of traders over the years, with incredible results. I know what gambling looks like. I've gambled myself in these markets. This is really important what I'm about to say. If Bitcoin itself is not at support, and your altcoin hits a support level, your chance of bouncing off that support level with your altcoin is not high. You can't expect your altcoin to hold strong if Bitcoin is still falling. It's dependent on Bitcoin. In the same way, Bitcoin is dependent on the S&P 500. Now, what does that mean for altcoin damage? Whether your altcoin is down 2% or 20% or 40%, it doesn't matter. You are in an illiquid market. An illiquid market means that small amounts of money can move them massively. Down if Bitcoin is going down, and up if the markets generally are trending up. That's why you invested in alts. You didn't want to hold Bitcoin. It was too expensive. The returns weren't looking good enough. So you took more risk. You took more risk, anticipating more reward. Now you're getting kicked a little bit. If this is fucking with you, you're gambling. You haven't seen anything significant in this market yet as far as a price drop. You haven't. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen a significant price drop in this market yet. And if this is messing up your mind, then you're overinvested. Lady B says, wow, honestly, realness. There you go. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're bringing extremely realistic takes here that, frankly, not everybody wants to hear. But you're going to hear it from me. Maybe you get offended by it. Brilliant. Get the fuck off the channel. Maybe you appreciate it. Maybe you appreciate the honesty, the real takes. If that's the case, smash up those likes. Double check that you're subscribed. That's what you get here. Alright, this is really important. And we are going to look at your alts in a second. We're going to look at the specific alts that people were worried about. But the first thing we need to understand is that we haven't seen a big move in the market. Maybe your alts are getting hit. Doesn't matter. Your alt getting hit is not going to dictate where the market goes. The S&P 500 will. The S&P 500 will dictate where Bitcoin goes, and Bitcoin will dictate where the rest of the crypto market goes. So, in other words, I don't really want to judge any percent loss that altcoins are going through right now, because this is not where we expect them to shine. We don't expect altcoins to do well in environments like this. And we understand that the breadth of how much they can lose is massive. The range. It can be 2% or it can be 40%. It's a massive range. You're in illiquid coins. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the altcoins. And quick shout out to Joshua Griffin. Just ran across your channel by scrolling and like the style. Thank you very much, sir. You absolute legend. This is what you get. I'm pinning that comment. This is what you get on this channel. Realistic takes. Realistic takes. That's what we do. And as we can see from the right-hand side of the screen here with the DGen cam, Bitcoin is just kind of figuring itself out. Not dropping right now. Might end up getting a little bit of a pump back toward 120. I'm sorry, 121. Let's take a look at altcoins now. So XRP seems to be one that people are scared of. I'm going to take a different XRP chart because I want to do fresh analysis. Let's use the Bybit chart. And I mean, the first thing that I see is a parallel support channel looking something a little bit like this. And because I see that, I'm wondering if I can draw that. Yep, that looks pretty legit to me. That looks pretty legit to me. Yup. I see this. I totally see this. Yup. And that, to me, looks like a typical descending wedge inside of an uptrend. So we've got the flagpole right here. We've got essentially the bull flag, this whole zone here. Extrapolate a target. $5. $5. So, we're looking good. You know, all you got to do is zoom out a little bit. We're only on the 4-hour time frame. We're not on the weekly or the monthly. We're just on the 4-hour. And this chart looks super healthy. It's literally trended back down to the bottom of this range like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times already. It's okay if we do it again. There is a ton of support here. Look at this. Are you serious? This is where I want to be bullish on XRP. And people are... I don't think you're cut out for the markets if this is stressing you out. I'm serious. Like, I don't know how you're going to last. You know, like, we haven't seen shit today. If this is messing with you, XRP looks great. Against the dollar. Against Bitcoin, arguably even better. Because against Bitcoin, it's even more clear where this level is. I mean, look at how strong this level is for XRP against Bitcoin. It looks really good. So that's XRP. I like it. I think it looks fantastic. I think this chart looks beautiful. And I want to buy this shit down at like $2.70 if I can. Geo says, yeah, this is nothing compared to previous drops. Completely agree, dude. Completely agree. Ladies and gents, as you are just joining in, smash up those likes. Let's get this thing up to above 150. I know we're close. Can't believe I'm hearing you say anything positive about XRP. I mean, look. XRP is a shit coin. It's a terrible coin. It's going to ruin the crypto industry. In many ways, it already has ruined the crypto industry. But if it wasn't XRP, it was going to be something else because those greedy bankers are going to find some way to try and take control of the markets here. So I hate XRP and I hate what it stands for. But I mean, it's a good coin, right? As far as investments go. And that's how I feel about it. I think it's a really good coin as far as investments go. I'm getting a couple requests for XPL. I haven't ever looked at XPL. Sounds like a new coin. Yeah. Oh, big drop, huh? But I know that there's a lot of hype behind it. And that makes me interested in it. Because maybe if it is seeing a big drop, it could actually be a big opportunity. But where am I going to get price history from? Because... yeah, it seems like none of these charts have good price history. Yeah, I'll just have to stick with the Binance chart. Yeah, the Binance chart looks a lot better. A Dino coin that might double, right? That's XRP, yeah. I think so. I think it's got potential. So, I mean, you can't really analyze this chart. I know a lot of people are asking me to analyze this, but like, it's just a chart going through some shit right now, you know? It kind of just needs to resolve itself. Obviously, this is going to be a level that's interesting for the coin, and we've kind of found a temporary floor here. Honestly, this is kind of the best zone of support that it has, kind of stretching down to about, let's say, 69 cents at the lowest end. So, you know, it definitely could be a potential bounce zone for XPL. But again, I mean, after a big drop like this, it is a little bit concerning. I don't really know this coin well enough to pass many judgments on it. Here's Bitcoin, by the way, continuing on higher, pushing up toward 121k. So we'll see how this goes, because if we are able to keep pushing higher, then what we might encounter now is actually a little bit of resistance on Bitcoin. You know, like as Bitcoin gets up to around here, this 121,300 level, this is where we saw some consolidation on the way down and some consolidation on the way up around 121.7. So basically another $1,000 up from here, and we are going to start hitting some problematic price zones for Bitcoin. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout this live stream as well, of course. Just tuck that back on the side. Give you that degen cam on the right hand side there. And actually we can go ahead and we'll see what other altcoin suggestions we've got here in the chat. Any other questions and stuff as well? Let me know. I'll go through those as well as we go on. Thanks, brother. Much love. You're very welcome, sir. You're very welcome. I needed to go a bit higher to clear my scalp for the day. WD Gen Cam. Hell yeah, dude. We got a request to look at Sui. Sui. Tether US. Look at this on the daily. And, I mean, it's in really good posture. It's basically doing something very similar to XRP. Same thing. But it's doing that inside of an even wider, like, symmetrical triangle, which is kind of crazy. So, I mean, it's got, like, a bullish pattern inside of a much bigger bullish pattern. Inside of a very big bullish uptrend. So, I'm not worried about Sui either. Sui looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. And it's going to be about breaking some of these resistance levels. Like here for Sui, it's going to be basically $4 flat. If Sui can get above $4, it's going to turn into a pretty nice chart. Aptos. Let's take a look at Aptos real quick. I don't know which chart to use here. Let's use Coinbase. Yeah, not looking great, to be honest. It's at a floor, at least. That's really good. But I don't really know, dude. It's going to have to get above, like, $6 to get interesting. All these coins are roughly in the same place. You know, they've got a resistance level that they just haven't been able to break for most of this year. And if they do break that level, they're going to break out. You know? And that's how Aptos looks as well. Ondo. Take a quick look at Ondo. This will probably be one of my last alt suggestions just for at least a few minutes here on the stream. Sideways here. Good floor. If it can figure itself out, you know, it's clearly a mature chart, and I really like the look of mature charts. I really like the look of mature charts because, you know, they just look safer and easier to kind of trade with. So I do feel like, yeah, if the market does want to kind of be fun again, and alts start kind of blowing up, then yeah, this is probably on a pretty good track for that. Nice channel mate sub. Thank you very much, dude. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Realistic grounded analysis, dude. That's what we do. That's what we do. Shout out to all those of you that have just subscribed during the stream. Welcome. But let's take it back to Bitcoin. In fact, let's take it back to the S&P 500. We've covered this already, but for those of you that are just tuning in, the S&P 500 is the key reason that Bitcoin is dropping. And it's because the S&P is just kind of consolidating at a high. And clearly the crypto markets are a little bit emotional, hormonal right now, we could say. And taking things a little bit too seriously. But really, there's no cause for concern that I can see here. If we look at these charts together, side by side, you know, Bitcoin doesn't look particularly terrible at all. It's definitely generally kind of weaker than the S&P 500 in relative terms, because the S&P is kind of like only up. Bitcoin's having a staggered ascension here, but they're reaching all-time highs at similar points. They're pulling back at similar points. Honestly, can't think of a time when crypto isn't hormonal. Yeah, seriously. So yeah, you know, looks pretty good. It looks like, I mean, the S&P's pulling back a tiny bit, Bitcoin's pulling back a tiny bit more. Like I said, you know, it's really not particularly complex at all. And I think all this suppression we're seeing on Bitcoin is going to result in a really big pump. That's going to, you know, make the S&P look like a bad investment again, because that's what Bitcoin does. So I think we're definitely approaching something like that. Sammy, I know you're not one to get worried in this market, and you can make money whether the market is going up or down. Absolutely correct. But what point would you start being bearish? What levels would have to be lost? Well, it's like I said, if we start breaking macro market structure, which means getting below 108, 107, especially it means getting below 98, things are going to start looking a little bit bad. But the fact is, this market has been in such a beautiful uptrend, and it hasn't really had any significant pullback, basically since this one here. I mean, this was a significant pullback too. This was like a 30%, but it was quick. It lasted 90 days. This one took 140 days to get to the low, but we didn't break the high for 8 months. And by comparison, the market has really sped up since then. So, you know, we're forgetting that we can literally do 8 months of shit trading, dude. You know, like really bad trading, and still be okay. This is kind of like one of the worst case scenarios that I see for Bitcoin. And this would satisfy so many of the bearish prophecies we're seeing right now. It would also take Bitcoin down to an absolute low of 88, 86, which is a beautiful level to see Bitcoin bounce down to. This is the kind of thing that a lot of people will be very unsettled with. But the market would still be bullish, even if this happened. To answer your question, 𝐿𝐸𝐵. We're not seeing concerning signs. I can't pull them out of nowhere and just agree with you guys, or whoever, you know, there is, because not very many of you are super bearish, but agree with those of you who are worried. There's nothing here for that. Bitcoin can tolerate 40% drops. A 40% drop from here puts it, wow, right here at a double bottom. It's almost like it's made to happen, fam. And I'm not saying we're going anywhere near that low, because I don't think we are. But what I am saying is I won't be worried. Because Bitcoin has drops like this, and we need to be able to tolerate them. And if I did join the retail masses who do indeed get worried over everything, maybe they're too invested in altcoins and, you know, the price volatility is really messing them up, whatever the case may be. If I behaved like those people, then I would have taken myself out of so many pumps. Like those idiots do. Because they do. They take themselves out of really good trends because they don't understand how volatile Bitcoin can be. And they think that when that volatility does come in, and Bitcoin does start dropping, they think that this is unusual or unnatural or dangerous or whatever the case may be. All of this is nonsense. That's not how this works. Bitcoin can tolerate really big drops, and if you're not open to that, or if you're not okay with that, you're gonna give your gains away. You might not even make gains. It might be that bad. We're closing in on 150 likes, ladies and gents. Smash them up if you haven't done so already. So that's the S&P, that's Bitcoin. Let's put it back on the minute time frame here on this chart. And move this over. And just keep an eye on kind of what Bitcoin's doing on this super short-term kind of perspective here. See where Bitcoin wants to take itself. And put Bitcoin back on the main chart here as well. All right. So, like I said, you know, this is our first kind of support zone. We've just hit it. We just hit it. It's been about 4 days of dropping down, but we just hit it. And this is the first zone that we could reasonably expect support at, and it is serving as support. Like I said, I don't really think this level is going to hold. I think that if Bitcoin does get a little bit higher from here, it might see resistance and end up dropping lower. So we'll stick around for a little bit on stream to see if that does happen while we're live. Otherwise, I might just have to come back later on. What days do we usually go live? Pretty much every day, dude. You know, whenever there's, you know, volatility that's worth talking about, we're live. So lately, it's been every single day. Sometimes it's once every 2 weeks. You know, I'm not gonna waste your time or mine. But I'll be here, you know, when it's needed. Geo says, yeah, it was a slow bleed the last few days. It was a fairly slow bleed. I mean, it was maybe even a little bit quicker than when we went up. But the point is, we went up by so much, and so far this pullback is still shallow. So I definitely think that, yeah. And then as for lives, like I said, you know, just whenever we need to. So as long as you've got, you know, as long as you're subscribed, you got that bell icon checked, you know, you're going to be aware of these streams when they do come in. We can still pump today. Hell yeah, we can. We got so much time left in the day. We're going up and to the right over time. Absolutely agree, Sean. Absolutely agree. And so it's like I said, you know, this zone is probably just going to be a nice zone of support for Bitcoin now if Bitcoin does end up, you know, capturing resistance and dropping lower. This whole zone down to 116, 115, 114 is a great support for Bitcoin. So I really want to see Bitcoin penetrate lower. The lower we penetrate, the easier it's going to be to rise back up with vigor, with strength. We really do need pullbacks in order to, you know, be able to charge higher. And if the S&P is giving us that chance, then that's a beautiful opportunity. The past few days have been great with the live streams. Thank you, Sam. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you for tuning in to all of them. It's been lovely to see you here. I think we'll rally after futures close. Could do. Definitely could do. But yeah, a little bit of a tiny pullback taking shape here again on Bitcoin. I don't think this is going to turn into anything. It looks like Bitcoin wants to keep going up a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. How are we feeling in the live chat today, ladies and gents? How are we feeling after, you know, 45 minutes or whatever we've been streaming for? What kind of economic events or fundamentals could trigger the market to explode or take another leg up? So I don't really know. I don't think it's really based on much of that. I think it's just kind of, you know, normal speculation. I could say interest rates and whatever, but I get what you're doing. You know, you're clearly an intelligent person with the questions you're asking, but you know, that stuff is noise. Economic events, fundamentals, it's noise. If I told you at the beginning of this year that Israel and Iran are going to bomb the shit out of each other, and America is going to bomb nuclear sites in Iran, would you really think that the S&P would have kept trending higher this year? Because that's an economic event or a fundamental, you know, piece of information that genuinely should affect the markets. That's something that should affect the markets, and it didn't. The markets just kind of kept pumping generally. I mean, clearly, because we're at all-time highs on everything right now. So, yeah, it did. And this is in the face of, like, all the crazy shit that's happened this year. So, this is the trap that intelligent people in these markets fall into, because guess what, El? You're an intelligent person, I can tell. But so is everybody else in this market. You're not at an advantage bringing just a good baseline level of intelligence into this game. You need to go a lot further than that. And really what it is stripping the bullshit away and looking at things for what they are. It's almost better to be new rather than someone that's been doing this for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, because you've got preconceived notions, you've got ideas of how you think things should play out, and they're usually wrong. They're usually like standard retail slop that every other retail person believes. But the fact is, the markets don't really respond to stuff like that. There's less there's less point in making sense of it, is what I'm saying. It's just easier to understand what the trend is, which is up, understand where the support levels are, which is where we are right now, and expect bounces at support levels. It's just easier, it's more realistic, it's more likely to be good and work out for you. That's my experience there. Besant wants the US economy to succeed. Yellen exports our wealth. Sure, I mean, I think it's a lot more than just those two people, dude, but I'm sure that those things would play some factor here as well. Liquidations at 119 are gone. It's going up. Let's see, dude. Let's see. It's a nice move up so far, for sure. I mean, it's a pretty steep, you know, reversal, which is definitely good for Bitcoin right now. I feel like we just wrecked the longs, loaded up on short trades, and now we can get a short squeeze. How to predict a squeeze? I mean, you just got to look for liquidity levels, but I don't even focus on that stuff too much these days. 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐵 says, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Exactly. Exactly. It's a very, very true saying. So with the charts, do I think the price or a trend is pretty much written in the stars? I don't know what you mean by written in the stars. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I don't want to misunderstand your question and then answer it. But yeah, Bitcoin is continuing to move up here a little bit. Zoom in so we can see how this looks on the hourly as well. We are approaching some of those, you know, resistance levels up ahead, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, liquidation heat map, but they're not perfect, and they're not actually based off where liquidation levels are necessarily. A lot of that information is assumed, which is fine. It's still probably good enough. Generally, it depends what liquidation heat map you use. There's a lot out there, and they're not all made equally. But I mean, you know, for the most part, it's kind of obvious, you know, like where is the support level? It's 120. Okay, go a couple $1,000s below that. That's where your liquidation levels are going to be. Or go 1,000 or 500, you know, below. That's where those levels are going to be. You know, it's very intuitive. You don't need indicators to be able to tell where they are. You just identify a support level and go a little bit below it. And that's probably where people have put their liquidations or their stop losses. That's all we need to worry about. It's almost just a waiting game to see what Bitcoin does, you know? And I don't really like that. For example, without the news, whatever is going to happen in regards to strengths and weaknesses of support resistance on the charts. I agree with that statement, yes. Basically, what L is saying is, regardless of what happens in the news or in the real world, the charts are just going to kind of do what they're going to do based on the charts that they've printed. My answer to that is yes. I completely agree. That's exactly what I think happens, with exceptions. And those exceptions are usually black swan events. Or temporary. A black swan event would be COVID. But even that wasn't really even a full black swan event, because it was just a temporary, like, 30-day, 90-day crash, and then the markets went absolutely crazy afterwards. So how much of a black swan was it, really? It was a black swan insofar as we couldn't have predicted it, you know, shaking everything in the world. But in terms of what it did to the market, nothing. You know? I think the big concern here is if Iran and Israel go into a serious war, and it looks, unfortunately, very likely that that might happen. But even in that situation, is that going to affect the markets negatively? I don't know. The markets don't seem to care right now. The markets seem to be doing pretty well overall. And they've pumped through all of these scary things. Look at this. Look at Bitcoin right there. Above 121 right there. Big move up. Smash up the likes for that. Let's push this thing above 150. Big step up for Bitcoin right there. Thoughts on the 4 or 5 year cycle? I thought it was a 4-year cycle. Are we changing it into a 5-year cycle now? Is that what we're doing? I don't have thoughts on it. I don't believe in these 4-year cycles. I think they're nonsense. I've never believed in them. It's now becoming a little bit trendy to say that you don't believe in them, but, you know, this is what we've been saying on this channel going back to 2021, 2020, whatever. Like, whenever I first heard of it, I was like, I'm not convinced, you know? I'm not convinced. I see the data, though. It looks real. It's too simple. It ignores causality. What's causing us to do this? Well, what's causing us to do this is that the S&P is up. So fuck your 4-year cycles. The S&P doesn't obey them. The S&P does what it wants, which is usually just trending up forever. Bitcoin is still pushing up, ladies and gents. It's definitely looking pretty decent. Money printers about to go burr. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. It looks like money printers are about to start switching back on. Make of that what you will. Alright, so we got an interesting comment here. Zone Capone. My take is follow the trend up. Take profits on the way up. I agree with everything so far. but a couple of weeks below the 50 moving average on the weekly, and we always slip into a longer bear. What is my take on that? I actually very much respect that take. And I think that take is very realistic. Let me demonstrate what this person's saying. This person's basically saying that, you know, we're bullish until we're not. And one of the ways to tell if we're not bullish anymore is to go on to, let's take the Bitstamp chart here, is to go on to the weekly, throw, no, this is not it. One sec. Which one is it? Oh my god, where's my moving averages? Is it here? Yeah, this is it. 50. So we take the 50 moving average, which is also the 50 SMA, simple moving average. And basically what this guy is saying is that every time we spend a few weeks below this level, below this line, we're entering a bear market. And I think there is a lot of substance to this idea. There also isn't, because it didn't work here, but this was a black swan, so okay, I'm okay with that. This doesn't count, because we didn't really close below it very much. This definitely counts. Let's go back even earlier. We slipped below it here, stayed down for a couple weeks, bear market. Yep, and that's basically as much price history as we've got. So we don't have too many instances of this happening. But the reason that I like your idea is because it's a really good display of where momentum might be on the market. And by the way, Bitcoin on the right side is seeing a little bit of a drop right now. Nothing crazy at all. But no, it's realistic. It's definitely realistic because, you know, it gives us room to drop below this level. But it does mean that, look, if we stay below this level for too long, we're essentially showing signs that, you know, we're losing momentum in this market. And that could be a sign of a reversal, you know? So I definitely agree, and I definitely think that's real. Right now, that level sits at 100K. So I think that's definitely reasonable. And that still totally accounts for Bitcoin dropping even as low as like 86, fuck it, even 70, whatever. Because as long as it doesn't do that for too long, we're still good. So yeah, I think that's pretty real. But I don't use any kind of hard and fast rule necessarily to know if I am seeing a bear market right now, or if I am seeing a transition into the bear market right now. And the reason I don't use rules like that is because, you know, there's going to be lots of different things you need to take into account. And what happens with all of these tools is like different tools are going to give you different signs of the market topping at different times. And the more of these signs you get that the market is topping, the more it's going to kind of paint that image for us about what we're seeing. And that's really important because when we can paint that image and see what that is, we can start raising our levels of certainty. This is really important. We can start increasing how certain we feel about the idea that this market is about to top, simply based off looking at the cumulative, you know, like number of indicators and tools and forms of analysis that all point in the same direction. Right now, and this is what I've been saying for a long time, is that if you are bearish, and if you are trying to make arguments that this market is going to crash and completely die, you don't really have anything that is confirming your ideas right now. I mean, the only thing you've got is a $5,000 dump from 126 down to 121. Or from high to low, it's a $7,000 drop. That's the only thing we got so far. I mean, it's not even a 10% pullback. It's literally not even a 10% pullback. So I'm just not worried at all. I'm not concerned at all. As far as potential bearish signs that we could see, we don't really have any right now. And that's what I'm saying, is that picture is going to change. If we drop below that 50-week SMA and we stay below it and we lose macro support levels and this happens and that happens and that, you know, like that's going to paint an image that tells us, hey, the tides are turning. You got less and less reason to be bullish now. Now it's a good idea to start flipping bearish. But if it's just like one thing that's like, okay, we drop below this level, I'm out, you're going to take yourself out on fake outs. That's why we're better than this. We're not robots. We're not trading algorithms. We can exercise a little bit more nuance in our heads about where we think we are in this market. Bots can't do that. Algorithms can't do that. And on a macro scale, if your questions pertain to investments, most people are probably going to want to rely on themselves before they rely on an algorithm, I would hope. And the reason I hope that is because if you don't feel like you can rely on yourself, then what the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of these markets and safeguard your money. If you can't rely on yourself, then what happens when the market starts crashing and things get scary? You're going to be in a very, very bad position. Most people genuinely would be better off if they leave crypto right now. They would. Okay, so that's what I have to say on that. If you are enjoying the stream so far, you know what to do. Smash them up. Bitcoin is taking a little bit of a dump right now. It's set a high at 121.2, and it is now down by about $500. Nothing crazy at all. Standard pullback, honestly. See if this thing recovers and gets Bitcoin higher up into the range. I think if we can get to like 121.7, that's going to be a really nice kind of zone of resistance for Bitcoin to see. So we'll see how that could end up playing out throughout this live stream here. Philosophically speaking, we're living in a simulation, essentially. Fibonacci sequence seems to be more significant than we realize. It's literally written in nature's code. I fully agree with you. It's kind of crazy how reliable the Fibonacci sequence is, especially in these markets. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's just nature, the laws of physics, whatever. But it is beautiful, and it's very nice that we can just rely on the Fibonacci numbers, and they're generally going to be pretty reliable. Retest of the 200 SMA break on the 1 minute. I'm not looking at the 1 minute SMAs, dude. Looking at the Wall Street cheat sheet, I couldn't even begin to tell you where we are on it. Any ideas? Honestly, I think we're still in sucker rally territory. I think that we're still in like disbelief, you know, that that people don't accept that this is a real market. I still think we're there. That's why I think we're going to go so much higher. I really think Bitcoin can get well above 200k. The amount of fucking people that are telling me Bitcoin topped at 126, I'm like, dude, no. Like, I do not fucking see it. I do not see it. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again in the future, but I don't see it. Do I think we'll see a blow off top or slow rollover catching everyone off guard? I think blow off top. I always think blow off top. And we didn't really get one last time, did we? I mean, we kind of did, but not really. You know, and that's why I said that I didn't really think that bull market ended. But no, I think blow off top for sure. I think it's much more likely. Blow off top. I'm in crypto too deep. Maybe, dude. Once people realize the opportunities that will come around, I think so. I think so. You know, once the market starts going crazy, they sold at 70, they'll be back at 150. Standard shit, really. We've seen it a million times. I've been that guy as well, so I know how it goes. Right, exactly. Crypto era. Sell crypto into quantitative easing and rate cuts. Makes sense. Obviously a sarcastic comment. Yes, exactly. It's silly, right? Like, we've got the best setup in years, and we've been waiting for it for years, and it's here, and now everyone's got cold feet. I can't think of anything that sounds more typical for a real bull market. That's exactly how real bull market... You think everybody actually makes money in real bull market? That shit's a lie. No. It's not how it works. What happens to a lot of people in bull markets is they don't have the fucking balls to understand where we actually are in the market. And they just scare themselves when shit starts happening, because it's easier to talk about gains in their head than to actually make money. Because it's stressful, because they're deeply fucking insecure, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So the market starts moving in the anticipated direction. You got to start conjuring up reasons for why it's not legit. Why? Because you're intelligent. And that makes you pessimistic. And that makes you someone that's going to get walked over in these markets. It's the fucking truth. The truth isn't going to change despite how upsetting it might feel. That's how these markets work. They humble people like you. Intelligent people. They humble people like you. Like me. I'm intelligent too. A little bit. Dropped out of high school. But I make my way. And that's how these markets work. That's the truth. And that's what you get on this channel. You already know the deal. If you're new, smash them up. What happens next? When is altcoins so my shitcoins move? I mean, when Bitcoin's in a nice, happy place and it's going stable, that's when altcoins usually move. So, you know, I'm not too worried. It's going to come. Damn, my man's spitting wisdom. You already know, dude. You already know. A fool. What's going on, dude? Welcome to the live stream. Admitting I know nothing was the best thing to happen to me. Probably, dude. Probably a good start. Got to stay humble in this game. Got to stay a student of these markets. Oh, we're closing in on 200 likes, ladies and gents. Can we hit 200 this stream? That would be really cool. Can we hit 200 likes on this stream? You legends. My uncle hasn't asked about crypto yet. Yeah, so we're not near the top then, are we? I don't know. And I don't know how typical it's going to be like that, you know, like if everyone's barber needs to start talking about Bitcoin again. I mean, it definitely could and maybe will end up being that way, but, you know, crypto's pretty well known now. A lot of people already have investments in it, and they just kind of like, you know, slowly monitor their Binance account with fucking XRP from 3 years ago or something, you know? People relax. Bitcoin will take off first. Ethereum will lag for quite a while. This market is going to run. Just relax. I agree with Sean. I agree with Sean. I dropped out or got kicked out of high school and owned multiple successful businesses. There you go, Joshua. There you go, Joshua. Standard. Standard. Don't need school. This whole school thing's a massive scam. And you know what I find really annoying is when someone who is more intelligent than, yeah, I mean, like, because there's definitely a class of people that are very intelligent that shouldn't have gone to university, and a lot of those people do go to university, and then they come out a few years later and they're like, actually, it's really valuable to go to university because of all of the soft skills that you get outside of, you know, like, university, but when you're on campus, and, you know, you get to meet people and all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, I was 19 when I moved from London to Dubai. That is a standard move for kids in Europe these days, believe it or not. That shit happens at like 17, 18, 19, 21, 25, whatever. It's a standard thing that people move from Europe to Dubai. US, anywhere in US to a place like Miami. If you just focus on being a useful fucking human, generate some value, make some money, instead of going to your shitty fucking university, and then you move out, or you just go out in the real world, meet some fucking people, go travel. You want to party? Go do it in Mykonos, on an island. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can live properly, and you don't need these shitty university experiences and going into debt. You don't even need to go into debt for all these life skills. Look at me. And I'm one of many. I know this might seem hard for a lot of people to believe, especially those of you that are just chilling in your house. You know, you live in a normal city, normal life. I know it sounds inconceivable, but this shit's normal. The internet's a big place. It's normal that you get, you know, very young people just completely uprooting their lives, going to completely different brand new places and living it up and becoming so much more wise, well-traveled, well-read, knowledgeable, connected than anyone who goes to university. It's true. And it's very silly. You get these people that are like, actually, it's useful for these other skills. This is stupid. For all the downsides of university, you go there because you get to meet people? You can meet people anywhere, fam. Have you ever traveled? Is it young people you want to meet? Okay, we'll go to Southeast Asia. You know what I'm saying? Go to Dubai. Go to a young city like Miami. You want to meet young people? You don't need university for that shit. All you gotta do is meet a bunch of other people that don't know what the fuck they want to do with their life. These are not people you want to hang out with. I don't even know who I'm talking to. This really only applies to kids, teenagers and stuff. But totally get what you're saying, but some people just won't get it. I'm born with it. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I mean, like I said, this is way more common than you think. I've personally coached people in business and trading. You know, people that are brand new to this shit. People there's a dude I was working with who literally just, you know, full-time fucking stoner. Love that guy, one of my closest friends. And, you know, like, if you saw this dude, you'd be like, he can't, you know, like if you saw him when I met him, you'd be like, what do you mean successful trader? You can't do that. But actually, no, you can. He just had a phenomenal teacher. He had me. And literally, like, 7-8 months, I trust his analysis like I trust my own. Within 7-8 months, this dude never saw a chart before. So, I'm really not convinced. You know, like, I think anyone can do this. I think it depends on having a good enough teacher, having enough willpower. Dude, this guy was hungry. This guy was so hungry to make cash. Education in the bag makes you confident you can go full crypto, taking my experience. I don't get it. I don't get it. What do you mean confident? Confident for what? It's not like you even have great job prospects anyway. Does he still smoke? Hell yeah, he still smokes. You don't need to stop smoking to be a trader. Bro, no one's becoming a brain surgeon without going to university. And yeah, and you're pointing out the obvious. You know, like, I mean, there are certain fields that it's not going to work for, and those are obvious exceptions. It's not MDX, is it? No, it's not MDX. No smoking in Dubai, brother. Absolutely, but this guy's not in Dubai. This guy doesn't live in Dubai. He doesn't have to follow those laws. He's in a different country. But my point is, you know, like, this potential exists in everybody. All you need is a great teacher and willpower. Depends on the experience. I studied economics. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, me too. I probably didn't go anywhere near as in-depth as you have with economics studying, but, you know, I can analyze markets quite reliably over a long period of time. Sounds like a very useful kind of, you know, output. I don't know, man. I'm just not... Nothing's going to convince me of this, you know? Like, we're seeing the collapse in front of us now. Like, kids that did everything right can't even get a job anymore. You know? Like, it's just so bad right now in the job market. And it's going to keep getting worse. Anyone that's a knowledge worker is going to get replaced by AI in the next couple of years. It's a done deal, fam. Everyone knows. What university degree? What economics education? What's it going to do for you? Like, you could have just spent that time in university building something. You got 4 years to fuck up 10 different projects and make one of them work. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a completely different structure. Like, with, and I don't have kids. I'm 24, but when I do have kids, they're not going to school at all. They're not going to school. No way. What do you mean go to school? Fucking crazy, fam. No. They're not going to school. Maybe, like, until age 10 or something, you know? But straight into homeschooling. You know, when they're of a reasonable age. Economics at A level will set you up. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Balls of steel will make you a good trader. Honestly, yeah. Gotta pump that tea up. Half of Wall Street is on Adderall and cocaine and half a vodka bottle a day. I don't know. You don't even need to be a degen, dude. You don't even need to be a degen to be good at these markets. You just need to be calm. You need to know what you're doing. Waste of time doing university now. By the time you get out, there will be no jobs. Exactly. And people are still going to university every single year right now. Kids that are like 18, 19, 20 are coming out of their college. In the UK, we call it college, or in America, high school. You know, and they're still going to university right now. And it's like, do you guys not see anything? Like, are your eyes really that fucking firmly shut? Makes a nice network of contacts. It's cope, dude. It's cope. It's cope. I can pull up my phone book right now. I'll show you a nice fucking... You know what I mean? Like, network of contacts. I met these people in the real world. We, you know, like... All you gotta do is go to one house party in a relevant city, and you'll meet the whole city. It's not hard. University for meeting people, dude? I respect you so much. I don't mean to be rude. I'm arguing the point, not you. I really think what it is for a lot of people is that the university experience was good enough for them, and they got enough out of it for them, that it's easier to say that, you know what, overall it might be worth it for most people who are directionless in life. It's easier to say that than it is to say that actually taking a little bit more agency of your life at those critical ages in life can set you up for the rest of your life. It's easier to say just go to university instead. But then let's be clear about the priorities here. The priority for university is not to set you up for life at all. The priority for university is to procrastinate further because you don't know what the hell you want to do with your life. Everyone has a choice. You're damn right, sir. You are very right about that. You are very right about that. But I think the numbers are speaking. There's less and less kids interested in that scam, and it's for a good reason. I tell you, my generation, Gen Z, for all of the stupid things we are, my generation, we're pretty smart in a couple of ways. We're pretty smart in a couple of ways. We figured out a lot of stuff that honestly the older generations didn't figure out. Still don't have figured out. I work in the finance industry. I went to university. Honestly, the issue is not even the work. It's the people. AI solves that. Exactly. Exactly. The people are terrible in industries like that, dude. I travel the world full-time with 2 kids doing homeschooling and crypto. Live life. Hell yeah, dude. Shout out to Crypto Rob. That's so cool. Son23 just graduated from IIT. I don't know what that is. Masters in biomedical engineering. Wow, that sounds so cool. And working at a grocery store. Unreal. Yeah, dude. That's it. That's so typical. And I hope something works out for your son and he can get a brilliant job. Obviously, that's a super cool degree. Hopefully, he can do something even on his own, maybe. I don't know. But it's tragic, and it's a common story right now. The real hard thing is admitting university was a massive waste of time. I mean, that's what I was saying. I didn't want to say it so rudely, but that's exactly what I was getting at. That it's just hard for people to admit that it was a massive waste of time. It's easier to cope. I think a lot of people go to school to dodge having to go into the real world. That's what I said. Procrastination, right? You're procrastinating because you don't know what you want to do with your life, so you go to university. It's the safe procrastination. It's stupid. And I understand it a little bit more if you're in Europe, because your shit's paid for. So it definitely makes more sense if you don't even have to pay for it. By the way, we are 10 likes off 200. So smash them up if you haven't done so already, you legends. Dude, I joined Air Force, travel world, paid for college, pension, now day trade and farm on my land. Fuck college. Hell yeah, James Andy. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of people. I know this is a big thing in America. Like people that have had, you know, at least somewhat of a fruitful career inside of the armed forces in America. Or even police or whatever. I think I heard something crazy. Like LA cops get like 200K, like a SWAT police officer or something. They'll get like a 200K salary or something crazy. And so what's happened with a lot of these people now, because we've got like really different economics now to what people grew up with, you know, in some very surprising ways in some cases. And especially I think for like what my generation expected, you know, the idea that you can join the Air Force, have a fun career, do what you wanted to do, you know, come straight out of fucking like high school, join the armed forces, do 5, 10, 15 years there, whatever it is. You exit with all those benefits. You're treated like a king because you've served the country. And you get to buy land. You've got great credit opportunities. Like, it works out. You get all the life experiences anyway. I'd much rather be friends with the Air Force guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Than... Nagesh says, bro, I'm Indian, but your language understanding 0%, but vibe 100%. Thank you, bro. 200K salaries in California is just regular middle class. I guess so, but it's still a lot of money, man. It's still like quite a crazy number. You know, like British cops won't get more than like 50K a year, I'm sure. Well, that's pounds, to be fair, but what is that in dollars? Like 80? Maybe 70? Nah, fuck joining the army. People that do that are even more lost. I don't know, dude. How many? I don't know. You know a lot of people from the army? I think they're pretty cool people, usually. I think, you know... Obviously, there's a lot of routes, and probably a lot of them are much better, too. But... I got way more respect for the person that joins the army than the person that gets a fucking accounting degree or a marketing degree. Do you understand? Do you know what I'm getting at? 20 years career at 38 and pension for life. It's lovely, dude. It's lovely. 38 years old, pension for life? What do you mean? It's sick. You're chilling, man. Young engineers can make 200K right out of school in their first job. This is absolutely crazy, but they have no holidays. That is pretty cool. My pop filter needs a replacement. Really? I like my pop filter. Are you saying it's not getting the pops properly? Literally nobody makes more than 100K in Europe. Only big managers. So true, dude. So true. People don't get this. Europe is so poor compared to America, it's not even funny. It's like, yes, okay, you get a lot more for free. First of all, you get free healthcare. You know, it's a pretty big one. You get a lot more, even though you get paid less. So you could say it equals out. But I don't think it's worth it at all. You know, being in Europe, I think it's a terrible place. There's only one big wisdom in life. It's never too late to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, I probably do agree with that. The army actually helps them find themselves on like a college campus. Yeah, dude. Yeah, army's gonna make you a fucking man. You know, college is gonna teach you to like love fucking trans and shit. Like, you know, like just to love those fucking trans psyop ideas or whatever the fuck they've got cooking now. You know, because it's probably changed a little bit since Trump got elected, but I'm sure it's still pretty crazy. Go join the armed forces, you'll be somebody. No one's saying stay there forever. Teachers don't even invest. Yeah, no, it's all a disaster, dude. It's all a disaster, and the school system's still going on like nothing's fucking... Like they're not just literally driving off a cliff with every student in the school system. It's just still going on like nothing's happening. These people are fucking clueless. The ones that run society in this way, like with the Department of Education in whatever country you're in or whatever. These people are clueless. 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 You know, I know it's like a... I know it's a very light gesture. It doesn't really mean much, but the UAE, if I'm not mistaken, is giving everybody who is a resident, like with an Emirates ID card, they're giving everybody a free ChatGPT subscription. I might be wrong on that. Maybe that was happening and now it's not happening, but that's the kind of thing that you want to see. It's light. It's meaningless. Everyone's already got ChatGPT. But it's the fact that they're like even thinking about it compared to the scam that we run in the West. That like you can still in 2025 just finish high school and then go to university and then be okay. That we still believe this shit. Dubai doesn't. There's no scam in Dubai like that. You know, it's just literally make your money and buy your house. You know, get it off plan. It's a pretty cool offer. Bro, you're my best idol, but I'm confused how to start trading at my age, just 17. My dream one day I'm a millionaire guy. I don't know, dude. I think you should just go into the books. Go study some books about trading. Paper trade for a while. If you paper trade for a while, you'll probably be good. You need to learn what you're doing, bro. You sound like you don't know anything about what you're doing. So you need to start with the basics. Just go on ChatGPT and be like, yo, I'm brand new to trading. Tell me what I need to know. Honestly, I'd say just start there. Sammy, you would have fit just right in the military. We would have had a great time. We'd need to cut your hair, though, really. Yeah, they want, like, buzz cuts, don't they? I don't know, because I was looking to grow this shit out massively, but then it started growing out, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can actually stick to this. Nah, I'm alright. I don't, you know. I've got a lot of respect for a lot of professions, but I wouldn't want to do anything else. Too many vaccines in the military, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, too. That's pretty fucked up, too. Yeah, there's a lot of professions I respect, but I kind of knew what I was going to do in life early on. And I'm doing it. So I'm good, dude. If you do what you believe in, you'll always be successful. It's as easy as that. I hope so. I hope it's like that. I don't know. We have an apartment in the in the address Dubai Marina. Hell yeah, dude. The Dubai Marina is amazing, and address buildings are so nice. They're so nice. Definitely a good idea. I can tell you're living well, Rob. If you got that apartment out there, land into DXB, go straight to your literally serviced apartment. It's like a hotel room. Lovely. Nagesh, legend. How do you start trading and now success in your age, please? Dude, forget about your age. Your age has nothing on this. Go learn some shit. You're asking very open-ended questions, which means you've not done any work yet. Go do some real work. Go read some real books. Study it. You need to get a lot more specific than where you're at, bro. You need to get started. You need to go on ChatGPT and ask him how to get started. Get back to the subject, please, Sammy. Yes, sir. I will do that. What do we want to talk about? I mean, Bitcoin's not doing anything. I've been watching the chart the whole time. You want to see Solana? Let's look at Solana. Yeah, guys, if I go off track, I start talking too political or whatever, and you guys get tired of it, just tell me. Just tell me to go back to the crypto. I'll go back to the crypto, I promise. I want to talk about crypto too. Yeah, Solana USD looks pretty good. Nothing I can really say on this. I don't know. It's going to be at the mercy of Bitcoin. Solana BTC. It looks like it could drop quite a bit more. I would like to see it come down to 0.17. My goal is to perfect skills by taking Sammy's course. Hell yeah, dude. I got some interesting information for you guys. I'll tease this right now. Since we're, what, an hour and a half into this live stream nearly. We are releasing a package soon at a very low price. I don't think we've ever sold anything this low. No, actually we have, but it was like a tiny fraction of what you're going to get here. And it's going to include a full course on learning how to trade and analyze and all that good stuff. Plus a bunch of other shit. Way more. That's like probably only 30% of it. And it's going to be at a very, very low price. But it's only a launch price, and we're going to be increasing that price over time. So what happens is if you buy early on, you're going to get a price lock. It's a monthly subscription. You're going to get a price lock for like 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And then prices will raise. And that's coming out fairly soon. I don't know when. Next couple of weeks, max. We were doing a lot of work on that earlier. And I'm very excited to see. And the trading journal is going to be included in that too. So that's an interactive trading journal where you can link your exchange account, your Binance, Bybit, Blofin account automatically via API, read-only APIs. We don't need to like touch your account and shit. We'll just be able to read from your account, and it will pull all your trade history, and it will just start giving you conclusions on, you know, like when your trade duration was X, it tended to work out better for you, but when it went beyond Y, your trade durations tended to indicate losses in trades, or you know, most of your profits happened when you trade early in the week, but when you trade weekends, you tend to have very bad trades, right? It's going to be able to draw conclusions like that for you, which is really cool. But then you can also, of course, manually input your trades as well. And then you can go back and you can input, like, you know, what your psychological state was during each trade, and you can track how that's affected your trades. All of that shit. That's just one extra benefit. That's all in one price. So I don't know where exactly it's going to be priced right now. But it will be at its cheapest point ever at the beginning. And I'll keep you guys updated on that. So if you do want to get updates on that and get access to that launch pricing, then just make sure that you are in this 4Flies Gold Telegram channel. We'll be talking about that closer to the time when it's ready for release. And we are putting in exclusive content in that Telegram channel. The other day I posted a 5-minute analysis update video that YouTube did not see. It only went to Telegram. And that's this free Telegram channel here. While you're down there, if you want to get inside of our one-to-one coaching program, it is incredible. We've had incredible results only across the board. Then reach out using this link in the description. It is a very serious package. It's an expensive investment. But if you think that you might be interested in it, then definitely reach out. And we'll get some information over to you. And if you're looking to trade on some of the best exchanges in the game, Bybit still is going to be giving you up to 30k in free trading capital. All you got to do is sign up and start trading. They're going to deposit that money into your account. Any profits you make with it are yours to keep. Best exchange in the game. They've been around for among the longest. Definitely, I think, the most credible, legitimate exchange in the game. Blofin, great alternative. Well worth checking out. Quickly becoming a very serious player in the space as well. All of them only if you're not from a restricted region. If you are from a restricted region, then definitely be careful. An economy degree gets you to the point that you seek out crypto YouTubers. I mean, that was kind of rude. But you're not wrong. Sign up to Blofin for infinite blessings. It's true. Signing up to Blofin does tend to be a good turning point for people. Shout out to you 24-year-olds in Dubai, aka the crypto heaven with 0 CGT. Hell yeah, dude. I can't imagine being a leftist and buying crypto. I can't read the rest of your comments, sir. Sorry. Do you think crypto will decouple from the S&P? I don't think anytime soon. As people see returns are higher and greed runs the market as much as fear. I don't think so. Basically, what we're going to see at most is a decoupling that's temporary, which we will probably see a few of those. But for the most part, when things settle down, you are typically going to see that positive correlation reestablishing between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. And that's not a problem. That's, you know, it's probably a good thing overall. All right, thanks for helping us get to 200 likes, guys. We got more likes than viewers. That's cool. Really appreciate all the support today, guys. And yeah, I think I'll take a couple last suggestions and then probably close it off for the stream. Now we've been live for about 90 minutes. Bitcoin's just kind of hanging out. And as usual, if something else interesting happens, you know, later on in the next few hours, we'll be back on stream. So just make sure that you have got that bell icon checked so that you are aware of it when it does happen. I want to give a huge thank you to those of you that have tuned in today. Thank you all very, very much. Vogel wants to know, what am I doing for humanity? What's the purpose of your life? Do I think money is important? What am I doing for humanity? That's a nice question. I like that question. There's so much we do. We don't flex it. I think one of the biggest things I've done that's very visible is changed a countless number of lives through this trading game. A lot of people have massively fucked their families, and that is a very far-reaching effect. It has a massive impact at massive scale. Bear in mind, this is YouTube. There's 130,000 subscribers on this channel. We've reached very far. Would you... Oh, God. I can't read some of your comments, guys. And I think that one was big. I think that one was absolutely massive. Some of the things we've seen. I don't even want to, like, go off and list them. You're going to see them. You're going to see them all on the website. When that offer is live, we've put a bunch, not all, maybe like 5% of the testimonials we've received ever up on that website. And you will be able to see first-hand accounts of what people have been able to do as a result of working with us, really. So that's a big one. And there's tons more, dude. In Dubai, so easy to be charitable. There's so many people that, you know, would be grateful for a little bit of help. And we've been doing that a lot as a family. I was actually just talking to my mum yesterday about how I want to build a school. I don't know how that's going to work. And I don't mean a shit school. We spent a long time berating schools just now. I mean one that's useful. And because I was thinking of one that's useful, I was thinking actually doing it fully online might be a better approach. Because we don't want this locked down to one location. Everyone's got a phone these days. Everyone's got a laptop. You know? So, do I think money is important? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do. I think it's right up there with family and health. And I think this is obvious. I think it's a silly question. Is money important? What do you mean? You're on a crypto YouTube channel, fam. Money important. Yes, sir, it is. It absolutely is. You got health, family, and money. What else, man? These are the most important things. God. If you're religious, you got God in there as well. But what drove you to ask these questions? I mean, you've put this question in the live chat 3 times. Is there something you're trying to get at? I'd love to know. Most longs liquidated. Do we still go down? I don't think it's that simple, dude. I think it's based on the S&P. If the S&P is going down, Bitcoin's going down. Digital school, AI guided, no teachers, just facilitators. It would work. I agree. Yeah. And I spoke to 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗟𝗓 about this years ago. AI wasn't what it is now a few years ago when I spoke to 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏𝗓 about it. But he really, had a similar idea. So maybe I'll speak to him about that again. I think definitely what I'm proudest of doing is the effects through this YouTube channel. yeah, it's been, you know, because it's so far-reaching, you know, like if 1,000 people get helped, that's 3,000 people more in their family that also get helped by extension, and that's pretty cool. Next big goal in life, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Buy some more cars, buy some more houses, have some kids. I'm just a normal 24-year-old, I guess. I'm just kind of living the life that a lot of 24-year-olds wish they could live. But, you know, the ambitions are pretty reasonable, pretty generic. Just do the things, you know, enjoy life. I don't think it's that complicated. I'm not complicating it. I used to complicate it. I like my life now. Go out on walks, take my dog out, you know what I mean? Travel a little bit. I'm not making this complicated. We don't need to make this complicated. I got plenty of other people on this planet making life complicated for me. I don't need to do it as well. I'll just get the basics right. Make my money, stay healthy, take care of friends and family. What else do you want, man? Spend time with friends and family. Thanks, mate, for answering my question. You're very welcome, Vogel. What dog do I have? I got a German Shepherd. A big, black German Shepherd. He is a big guy. He is a very, very big guy. Majority of people in their 20s have no idea how life can be. They're too locked into school and a job. Yeah, they're clueless. They're full tunnel vision. They come out of this fucking illusion in their mid-20s. Then they got a couple years left to party and be stupid. 30s come around and it's like, shit. I'm getting old. Aging is happening. 35, you start hearing about the knees. The veil starts being lifted. You realize you're not the invincible 22-year-old you always thought you were. And by this point, you got a lifetime of bad fucking decisions where you had no input on what you were doing in your life. I made the mistake of waiting too long to have children. Yeah, I hear that from a lot of people, dude. Hear that from a lot of people. I got a real dog, not one of those handbags. Dude, I hate those handbag dogs. I hate those handbag dogs. They piss me off. Just looking at them pisses me off. Just looking at them pisses me off, man. I don't get it. People want a pet as a dog, and then they get a little handbag dog. What are you doing, fam? Get a real dog. Get a golden at least, you know? Get a real dog. Get a husky or something. Get something cool. People out here with fucking little fluffy balls. Just get a cat, fam. Just get a cat. What we don't get taught in school is how to use money to make money. Don't work for money. Absolutely. No, we wouldn't get taught that in school. That's too revolutionary. Alright, guys, I'm probably going to be heading off from here. If you have enjoyed the stream, you know what to do. Smash them up. Double check that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on the next live stream. If something else does happen that's interesting later on, then we will be back with another live stream. But for now, that is going to be me. I'll just wait to see if there's any kind of final questions related to crypto or whatever. Just for another minute or two, and then I'll probably close it off from here. School wants you to work forever. Yeah. I don't even think the school thinks that far. I think the school's just like laser focused on getting kids to university, and university is laser focused on doing nothing useful. Thanks, Sammy. See you in the next one. Yeah, you're very welcome, sir. Good to see you here. If I have to choose between a Lexus NX 450 Plus or a Macan 4S, I mean, I don't know much about Lexus, and if there's a Porsche available to choose, then I'll always choose the Porsche. So that's easy. May the crypto gods be with you. Thank you, sir. Alright, thank you all very much. I'll be rounding off the stream here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers. Oh, I lost my cursor.